Jane, in your editorial that you wrote about this, I was very struck though by how you said that this specific scandal with Rabbi Freundel was a very Jewish scandal because it was directly related to the abuse of power coming from a man in a position of authority, protected by the way that in Orthodoxy men are defaulted to positions of authority, and that in fact there had been complaints about the rabbi before to, I guess, the larger rabbinate body, and that had been, that had been swept under the rug. I was very struck by that, and Rachel, I'm just wondering, because I know you write about sort of larger issues of patriarchy at Bustle all the time. What your sort of reaction on as a writer in the secular world was to this particularly Jewish scandal?
I mean, it struck me certainly as upsetting and disappointing, but not surprising by any means. I think that it's not necessarily a Jewish problem. It's a problem that you see in all established religions, like the Catholic Church. We've been talking about this for decades, right, with similar issues of sexual abuse or violations. And I think it's what happens when you have, unfortunately, too few men with too much power, right, and not enough female oversight, or perhaps internal checks and balances of or external checks and balances, really, of places where when people violate confidence, really, and their position of authority, that they have to answer to someone.
When I said a Jewish problem, I meant not just an Orthodox problem. I mean, the behavior of this rabbi was exposed, including by a terrific series by Stephen Weiss here at the Jewish Channel, as someone who really lauded his power over, in particular, converts.
Right.
And it was many of the women who evidently, we have to say evidently, because this has not come to trial yet, but the women who evidently were taped were going to the mikvah.
Women have come forward and spoken about their experiences with them, so we know that that some women have said, yes, I did have an uncomfortable experience with him.
Absolutely, and I think to me, it raises a different set of questions that almost take it out of the gender role, although can't ever escape it, which is, how welcoming are we to converts in Judaism, and how hard are we making it for people to join us? And in my view, it should be a whole lot easier.
So I think that we're hitting on mikvah, on gerut, on conversion, and a lot of people are talking about those items, but if we do limit ourselves to those things, we're doing a major disservice to the Jewish community. Because to me, the most problematic thing with what happened is not Freundel, it's the fact that there were allegations made and there was no follow-up. That no one bothered to look at the website to see that he was, bringing these vulnerable women and converts and having them do these practice dunking. There was no sort of follow-up with converts to say, what's going on? How's the process going? It could have been a very non-invasive process, and this could have been prevented. So for me, that's the larger issue, that there were all these red flags and they weren't addressed. And so I wonder how many other red flags are there right now, and what's going to happen with them.